Welcome everybody to our special meeting and community conversation of the Rye Town Park Commission. Please rise and join me for the pledge. The flag is there on our brand new flagpole. Well, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Debbie, please call the roll.
Commissioner Jason Klein.
Here.
Commissioner Lindsay Jackson.
Here.
Commissioner Emily Hurd. Commissioner Josh Cohn. Here. President Zuckerman.
Here. Thank you, everybody. This is our annual community conversation. The main part of the meeting will be listening to members of the community, but we are calling this a special meeting, and we have a couple of items of business to take care of. Jason has to leave in about a half an hour, and Mayor Cohen has to leave early, and I have to leave a little early, so we want to get the business part over first. Our first, let's just go in order in the business items. The adoption of minutes of April 16th. Unless there are additions or corrections, may I have a motion and a second to approve?
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Our next item, it will be resolution to declare terracotta tiles surplus. We've had tiles sitting in the parking lot from the roof of the administration building and from the roof on the main bathhouse for many years. We attempted to use some of them when we redid the ticket booth at the main gate. However, that was very difficult, and we found out that those tiles are virtually useless. And considering that the bathhouse roof has been restored, the tower building roof has been restored, and we have accepted bids to do the pavilion roofs, those tiles are just taking up space in the parking lot. Hopefully we can sell them. So with that, unless there are comments, may I have a motion and a second?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. And the next resolution is what we call nunc-pro-tunc, now for then. And we'll get to the Friends of Rye Town Park in a moment. But one of their projects is beautifying the front of the tower building. And as part of that, they requested the commission to replace the flagpole right to my right, which was terribly deteriorated. And they sent us a very nice letter, and I polled the commission. Everybody was in favor. So the flagpole has been installed, and this resolution is to verify that installation. So are there any questions or comments from the commission?
Just a giant thank you to the Friends for their work beautifying the front of the building. It looks, the landscaping you might notice is all new. The terracotta pots are great. I think they look beautiful. All the trees and the bushes and the plantings, the fountain has been replaced with grasses. I think, Diane, you guys will talk about all of this, but we're so appreciative of all the work you do, and it really, the doors, it makes a huge impact. And
There's something for Diana.
I know, I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion and a second, please.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. And now, I just want to bring, before our commissioners have to leave, just up to date on some of the capital work. We have issued awarded a bid to replace at least one of the pavilion roofs, which work should start probably in the fall. We are going to request additional funding to do the second pavilion roof from the State Assembly through Assemblyman Otis. We'll get to the so-called beach level bathrooms. Demolition has commenced there, and that's with a grant and assisting us from Shelley Mayer. And if you've watched our meetings, the cost was more than the grant, but the work is in fact proceeding. Future capital work hopefully with a lot of grant money will be the retaining wall over here near the bathhouse. We have an application which we should hear in the next month or so from the National Park Service. We've put this in as a congressional funding grant also for what used to be pork in congressional vernacular. Now it's community spending. And it is our intention to ask Senator Mayer also for additional funding. They will have enough grant money that we will not have to spend local tax money to do the retaining wall. We've also asked for congressional funding to replace the fence in the front here. We'll be making application again to redo the parking lot, and we have great hopes this time that that will be granted. And all of those things are in the works. I can't make any promises, but we're hoping we will get a lot of grant money to do all of this work. We ran into somewhat of a problem with the tunnel baths. The contractor found that there was water coming in under what would be the proposed floor. So we've made investigation as to where it's coming from, whether it's coming from rain, and determine that that's too much water for that. But I'm going to turn it over to Debbie, who's been working with the contractor and the architect, and I had a meeting yesterday regarding it. So Debbie, do you just want to fill us in briefly as to what the status is?
Sure.
So, as Gary mentioned, during the demolition phase, our contractor discovered that there was a broken pipe that was delivering a lot of water to the floor of the bathroom, and that the drain that is there that would clear it away into a catch basin in the parking lot was clogged. So on Monday, the Village of Portchester is very graciously coming to jet out the pipe. If that goes according to our hopes, we'll be on our way. We'll also be making arrangements to put in a little bit more structural support for what is the ceiling of the bathroom, and also the floor of the old men's room. So we'll be putting supports in. Other than that, everything's going as anticipated.
You have a question?
Where?
Were you guys, or we required to do the scope of the sewer drain out to the street the same way that a new house would be? Do we know where the sewer drain is going from the bathroom?
So this is not a sewer drain that we're talking about. This is a storm drain.
Okay, but as part of this project, is that something that's gonna happen?
Of course,
Okay, awesome, cool.
but a completely separate pipe. Yeah.
Any other questions? Any questions here?
Just sort of anticipated timeline. Is there an update on the timeline of completion?
I don't know that we have a timeline. I had hoped to complete the project before the end of the summer, like before the end of July, but we're not going to know that until we actually get into it. But You know, our goal is to get this complete and finished before next season. That's the main goal that we want.
And we have sort of county approval. I know there was an issue with respect to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why the county had given us a violation based on lack of fixtures with that bathroom being out of operation, but we've worked that out with the county. Debbie has been in contact with them over the last year about it. Yes, yes, I'm sorry.
Just regarding that, you'll notice as you walk around the park that there are signs directing folks to the closest restroom. That was part of the county requirement. We're in compliance with that.
Oh, it's Catherine, oh, hi. I can't see you with the sun. Our county legislator, Catherine Parker, has graciously joined us, and she's been obviously a great friend of the park. I'm going to get you one second. One thing I forgot was the main bathrooms. We have a grant for the renovation of the main bathrooms from the state of New York, and that's for what we estimate is going to be the cost, 50%. We are working with the county, and thanks to Catherine and Nancy Barr, the other 50% was placed in the capital budget. The status of that is we have to go through the county's administrative steps, the first of which will be approval of the County Planning Commission. And we were advised that because our county legislators added so many new projects all over the county that the Planning Commission is backed up. So we are hopeful to be on their June agenda, if not then the July agenda. And the nice thing about the county grant, we were told, is that when the bids come in, if the bids are higher than expected, we can actually apply for more county money, which is a good thing. So we're very hopeful that the local tax share of the bathrooms will be zero or very little, hopefully, and they'll be gorgeous. And one of the things is, based on the timeline, we should have at least the tunnel baths in operation when the other baths are out of operation, but we want to try to schedule that construction to be in the fall after the season and to be completed before the next season. I mean, that's what we're hoping for. Otherwise, it'll be porta potties. So we don't want that. Anyway, thank you, sir.
First of all, thank you. That was my first question about the upstairs bathroom. But thank you for doing this one. I just want to say thank you to the staff that's here every day during the season. They do an outstanding job. And you really answered my question with the main bathroom. I was there several weeks ago, and I was really shocked at the condition. Have you seen it lately?
Yes.
Yes, I showed a picture to my daughter. She said, "Did you visit a prison?" That's how bad it is, and it's a shame because the facility is so beautiful. The staff works so hard. These guys do their job every day, and they do it well. So thank you to the staff, and I'm glad that's going to be done.
Thank you. Identify yourself, please.
John Mazza, Rye Neck resident.
Thank you very much. Thank you, John. Debbie, would you address the senior staff?
Yes.
Thank you. Can I invite the senior staff to come up?
Morning, everyone.
So we have with us our senior staff led by our park director, Russell Gold. Our head groundskeeper and maintenance, Sal Valiente. Our new assistant park director and head park attendant, Jose Oliveros. Our park ranger captain, Michael Kensel. And our waterfront captain, Mark, help me, I'm... Casada. Thank you.
Mark, tell everyone, how many years are you at this park?
Well, if you can believe it, I was hired in June of 1974. So if you do the math, 50 years later, I'm still
And he doesn't look a day older, does he?
well, when you enjoy your work.
So Mark, help me with the math. Mark,
I gotta say, our staff,
50 years.
Today, yeah.
Help me with the math, that's 50 years.
That's what I said.
Oh, I didn't hear it. Okay. 50 years.
50. So I
By Giles Fettridge.
I have to tell you, we have an absolutely wonderful staff. You know, I became supervisor about a little over 8 years ago, and only Mark was here, and we've cycled through people in different positions, and I think over the last couple of years, all of our senior staff has been here, and they do a remarkable job. You just have to look around at the park, how beautiful it is, and how safe it is. And we keep adding safety improvements. Hopefully this year we'll even have a drone flying overhead from time to time on crowded days. But, you know, I just want to congratulate Debbie and Russ and all of the senior staff on the great job that you do. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
And now,
So if I may, you guys can step back, I don't know, but if I may, I want to just, beyond just introductions, you know, so now you know you have a name with the face, just want to go over, so this is my 6th year in the top seat, you know, as park director, and these folks have been with me for all those years. So we're really starting to gain some traction. We got some consistency, and you know, we're being consistent. Okay, so people are starting to get it. I can't say enough about this team. I mean, Mike, you know, with his background, just knows what to do and where to put people and how to keep people safe, and you know, and how to keep the keep the beach safe, you know, as far as the patrons are concerned. Mark, with all his experience, he started out just as a lifeguard, but now he's trained up. He has all these advanced certifications, and he has kept the beach safe for, I don't know, how long you been the captain, Mark? 76, 48 years. Okay, whatever. But and I don't
do you think he knows something?
And yeah, and we really couldn't do the beach really couldn't do it without him. All right, so he is. And I don't think we've ever had a fatality here. It's just a remarkable achievement by Mark and his team. As far as the overall grounds, you know, you can't say enough about the Friends of Rye Town Park, but as far as the maintenance is concerned and keeping things, despite the deteriorating condition of many of our buildings and our infrastructure and stuff, Sal and his team have just been remarkable to, you know, keeping this thing together with Band-Aids and chewing gum, whatever it is that takes and stuff. It's really a challenge, considering they're only seasonal employees. These are not full-time people. They don't get benefits. They don't get time off. These are seasonal folks that work for, you know, fortunately now more reasonable wages. But it's really, you know, you just walk around and you know what their challenges are. And Sal and his team have met virtually every one of them. And then last but not least, Jose, who's, you know, worked his way up from park attendant to head park attendant, and now he will hopefully, as he progresses and as he learns more and as he becomes more comfortable interacting with the public and stuff, I'm gonna hopefully hand the keys to him if it'll take them. So he's really growing, and we're really happy to have him. And looking into the future, we hope that he'll also, you know, step up. Right? Thank you.
Thank you. I would be remiss in, one member is not here today, the town director of grounds and facilities, Vic Federico, who spends A great deal, probably a third to more of his time at Rye Town Park, and who aids us tremendously. So we have overall a great staff and experienced staff. And now I would like to turn this over to Diana Page and the Friends of Rye Town Park to describe the work that they've been doing. And I just want to say that the Friends of Rye Town Park are true partners with the Park Commission to make this place a better place and a wonderful place for all the patrons. And thank you, Diana.
Hi, everyone. I'm Diana Page. I'm the president of the Friends of Rye Town Park. Most of my board members are here today, and we are celebrating some recent successes. I'm going to introduce our Chief Gardening Officer, Lucy Burkhoff, in a few minutes, because these were really her ideas. But I just wanted to, number one, thank the commissioners for the flagpole, just in the nick of time. I love it. It's really beautiful. It makes a huge difference, and we're really excited about it. Russ and his team, I don't know where Russ went, but I just want to say thanks to Russ and his team. Russ has partnered with us through this entire process. There he is. Hi, Russ. Through this entire process, and just kind of worked miracles and magic when things were looking dark. So he has been a huge partner. We are a 501c3 nonprofit. Our sign is right over there. There's a QR code, and our website is easy to remember. It's friendsofrtp.org. So look us up. If you like what we're seeing, or if you like what you're seeing, please make a donation. I want to point out our other board member, Chris Meyer, over there, incognito in the back row. He has partnered with Russ Gold, who's been our beekeeper since we installed beehives on the peninsula and the pond. Russ has been harvesting our own Friends of Rye Town Park honey, and Chris has joined him in that effort. So they have beekeeper suits and everything. They are harvesting the honey for us, and we have some for sale today if you'd like some for a donation. And I think that's about it for me. I'm going to have Lucy walk you through all of the work that we've done because, as I said, they were her ideas. So, Lucy Burkhoff.
So it's funny that Emily's here and on the commission because Emily took me on a boat ride in Maine to the middle of nowhere, this island, and the island was full of people caring for it in the middle of nowhere. No one was going to see it except for them, and it was a deserted island, and they were all actively caring for the landscape of this island. And it was like made a huge impression on my husband and I because it was like, here are these people out of the goodness of their hearts. No one is going to see this, but they appreciate it and they love it. And that's how I feel about Rye Town Park, is that we all have this amazing island in the middle of our community. And frankly, very few people outside of our community come here, but it is on us to really care for it and love it. And one of the main ways we can do that is through plants, just like these people on this island in Maine. It was incredible. So we have started, under Diana's leadership, adding more and more and more native plants, which are the perfect food for so many different parts of our ecosystem, to this environment. And we were very, very lucky that historically, through the years, the park has been incredibly cared for. Trees have been planted lovingly and cared for. But the actual, what I would call, I guess, the understory of the park, including understory smaller flowering trees, were absent in the native world from this landscape. And so what we've been doing over the past 4 or 5 years, is slowly adding in the layers that come beneath the oaks and the maples and the pines and the chestnuts and all the incredible, the willows are some of my favorite in the park, the ashes. We're adding the layer underneath that for the birds and for the insects is really crucial, right? You can't just have the top layer, it doesn't work. You have to have all the layers for the ecosystem to function. So we're in the process of that, and we have been working kind of around the perimeter of the park. If you were wondering, one of the major high impact things that we did last year, which might in somebody's eyes seem a little bit messy in its initial stage is we created a meadow at the gatehouse that is all native pollinator plants. Last year was its first year, so it was very, very small, but if you're a gardener, you know the words sleep, creep, leap. So last year was its sleeping year, this year will be its creeping year, and then next year it's going to be insane. But it will really be quite beautiful this year, and I hope you'll all, as you're walking, take time to pause there and watch what's growing, because that is like super high impact. There are 20 different species of native flowering pollinator plants in there. We just added, our most recent addition was to add lupine, which won't bloom until next year, but you'll be seeing phlox and asters and Joe Pye weed and milkweed and coneflower, and those are all going to be evolving in that meadow, and we're going to use that as a learning lab to start spreading that through other areas of the park. Russ just indicated an area at the end of the daffodils right by the pond that's going to be our next meadow experiment, and those are super high impact, high reward, and that's what we're going for. So the next thing that we took on this spring was to do the front of the tower building. There were already some really high impact natives here, but frankly, humans like things to be aesthetically pleasing also. So we kept the high impact. We took some of the extra high impact and we moved it over to the new Russ Garden, which is by the ticket, the parking pay ticket on the other side of the bathhouse, and you'll see we moved the hypericum, which is also called St. John's wort, over there to form a little hedge. We added a ton of panicum, which is the native grass that if you walked through Edith Reed and you were like, what are the native grasses here? That is really on this part of the East Coast. There are really two native grasses that are predominant. One is a panicum, which we also were able to add to the fountain here. And this one is a little bit of a red-tipped variety to reflect the red of the roof. But the panicum is super important for birds, for filtering water. The bird seed is very important. And as they restore Edith Reed, that's what's going to be helping filter the water that goes out into that new reef area. So the panicum, and then we also added, because we're trying to add a little bit more evergreen interest to the park, we added a couple historic references. And you'll see as we garden that we're not just trying to be a billion% eco, although that's like $500 million or $750 million. But the other thing is to have the historic reference. So we have these really incredible, this singular, really incredible emerald green arborvitae anchoring this end of the park. And we decided, you know, that's a historic plant that's really doing well here. That one has to be at least 75 years old. So we're going to echo that in a few other places throughout the park to give us a little evergreen. And then in the midst of all that, we replaced some of that intense hedging of the hypericum. We left some hypericum. We added in something called a fastigate sweet gum, so it's never going to get fat and it's never going to have the sweet gum balls that are a pain in the neck, but they do have incredible color, and we're really trying to add seasonality to the park. We want to be able to start lighting more stuff in the winter so it's enjoyable to be down here in the dark. So we have the sweet gum, which is the tall spiry tree on either side, and that's going to also have incredible fall color. We have the ilex, the inkberry, we have the hypericum, which we left, and then we have something that's like native to America but not necessarily native to this region, but does really well and is beautiful to light, which is the Colorado blue spruce. And that, again, that's a miniature variety, and it's going to grow very slowly, and we can prune it. But all of these things are designed thoughtfully. I hope you'll see where, with a very minimal amount of maintenance for the term of our lifetime in this park, they can be quite beautiful. And then historically, which is really cool, you can like, what's this page on Facebook? Meekin, you probably know, like if you grew up in Rye or you've lived in Rye.
You know you're from Rye.
Yes, and so they've actually been posting quite a number of really cool pictures of the park and a playland. And so you can start seeing these historic references. And one iteration of this garden many years ago had huge fans of red roses all along the wall. So we took that as a cue.
That was fairly recent, those fans.
Oh, It wasn't in my lifetime in Rye. I only moved here in 2010, but the picture was beautiful, and that's something that I like to add roses to all of my gardens. So both those things together indicated that we were going to add roses to this. So there are red roses here, which is going to pick up on the color of the red of the playland gates, and you're going to have a surprise red gift coming in on Monday, which I'm very excited about. And so this is all, again, the most recent iteration of this garden had the Hypericum, and it had this little native columbine, which is the Canadensis variety. So we kept that because it was doing so well here, and we added more of it. So I think you'll see, like, when we see something's doing well and it's really high impact environmentally, we're going to be adding a lot more of it. One thing Diana loves that we're going to be adding up at the Dearborn corner inside the park is going to be New York ironweed, which is an incredible perennial that's native to the state of New York, as indicated by its name. It's really important for pollinators, and we're going to be adding this other really beautiful rose, which is our native rose to the east coast of America, and they have a really incredible one in the Rye Garden Club's little pollinator garden at Edith Reed, and I have seen how successful that one is, so we're also going to be adding 2 of those to that corner. So anywhere we can, make these little connections, the rose with these roses, and then we have like the incredible Daffodil Hill, but we're looking, frankly, daffodils are not native, but what we've learned from so many things, basically for me spending so much time on the internet during COVID, is that And it's kind of natural. We all have like a really emotional, visceral response to massive plantings of flowers. So we're trying to make these things as floriferous as possible to get more visitors and fill them with excitement about the park. So the daffodils were such an incredible experiment and are a lasting gift to the park. From a variety of people really contributed to that. But we're looking for more ways to do that now with native plants, and we're going to see how well the lupine do over here in this little meadow. And then if that lupine experiment is successful, we'll be adding mass plantings of that to other areas of the park. Jamie and Diana and I started a little Virginia bluebell experiment underneath the Bill Lawyer red buds on the far side in the woodland area of the park. That was like super, super small, but was successful on that super, super small level. So now we're going to be able to add a lot more Virginia bluebells to the woodland area. So all of these things are so exciting. It's making the park so much more beautiful. I hope you encourage people to walk the whole park because there are little moments of excitement all over. And thank you for your support. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Lucy. At this point, I'd like to, first of all, Diana, I don't think you fully explained the project with the doors and what you have planned for the pergola.
Okay, so that was also your idea, that's why I was going to let you talk about it, but, so Lucy had an idea about restoring the historic front doors to the tower building, and to be honest, when she mentioned it to me, I sort of thought, Lucy, what difference are the doors going to make? But she was right, because as we started to restore these doors, it started to open my eyes, I think all of our eyes, to what's possible for this building. And so that great vision has opened the door, no pun intended, to some more work that we're going to do. On the second story, you may notice that the pergola on the balcony has really fallen into disrepair from long period of neglect. And so we are going to embark next upon the task of restoring that pergola, painting the columns, the railing, and the doors on the second story. And we are hopeful that that will encourage donors to come forward and help us eventually to restore the entire building. That building has a lot of possibility. It will take a lot of money, but we think that it could be a beautiful community room space. It has been that in the past, and we see a lot of possibility. So I will again point to our sign and our website, and to please help us in our journey. Thank you.
Thanks again, Diana. Let me throw this open to members of the community to make any comments. What I would like to know from the community is what ideas you have for us to look at going forward, whether it's capital work, whether it's programming, or anything else. I mean, we have tremendous program. We have groups like the volleyball people on the beach that take up Mondays and fill the beach with activity. We have other groups. We have different things coming here. We have programs here. And Debbie, at the end, would you just go over what's on the schedule? I know we have Pride Day and we have other things lining up, programs and things, programs that the Barley Beach House does. But any ideas that the community has that we can carry forward, we'd like to hear. One of the things that I mentioned, and I've mentioned it before at one of our commission meetings, is the building behind us that the Friends of Rye Town Park are working on to beautify. We really don't have a current use for it. So the question that I have, and I think the other commissioners have, is what should this building become in the future, whether it's next year, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years? It's a gorgeous building. And it's, of historic significance. But the interior is deteriorated. It's going to take many millions of dollars to renovate for whatever it's going to be. Obviously, the Park Commission doesn't have that kind of funding, but we can't even begin to do anything, to think about it, unless we have ideas of what should it be. So that's why I throw that open for anybody to either hear or put it on our Facebook page or communicate directly with the commission as to what do you think should be done. And this goes for the tower building or anything else in the park. We want to hear from you. It's your park. Thank you.
I see a raised hand.
My name's Peter Torpy from Rye Beach Avenue, and I was just wondering if there's anything been looked into. There's the sidewalk along Rye Beach Avenue from Forest down to here. There's a lot of places that are in pretty bad shape where, could be liability at one point. I was wondering if anybody was thinking into doing some work with that sidewalk there.
Thank you, because one of the capital improvements I forgot to mention, I'm sure there may be others, is we have a grant outstanding to the State of New York Department of Transportation to replace all the sidewalks around the park. We don't know, it's a tough grant to get, we do not know if we're going to get it. But yes, that's on our minds, and we have applied for a grant. I don't remember the number, somewhere around $1 million. So we'll see what happens, but yes, it's on our mind. Thank you.
Hi, Ann Rostra from Portchester. I always thought it would be an amazing event space. I don't know how big it is up there, but it just looked like, and then obviously it would cost millions, like you said, millions, but if there's any way we can make it in something that would actually try to pay back for rent or, to rent out, it just would seem like a beautiful thing.
That's something, when I first became supervisor, my predecessor, Joe Carvin, and the board at that time sent out, an RFP for ideas, and there were ideas that came in that never came to fruition. One idea was, for example, a European health spa. Another was another restaurant, but of course we have a restaurant. We don't want a competition. But yeah, the space in there is not that big, but it would require a lot of renovation. There's a lot of space on the ground floor, much more than upstairs. But it is it's my understanding that in years past, they actually had Rye Town Council meetings and Rye Town Park Commission meetings in that building. That was obviously many years ago. Thank you for that, though.
Yeah, hi. Ross was complaining that I come to these meetings and I never say anything, so now I'm saying something. My name is Eero Kilpi, sorry about the difficult Finnish name, but, so I'm partially liable for the idea of the European spa at the building, but what I'm suggesting now here is that what actually should be done, if there's any interest in that, to put maybe one mobile sauna next to when the wall is being fixed. Start with one sauna and see how that's going to go for exercises or for beach people, and then see if it catches up, then put another one, and then consider in the future what could be done for the main building.
Such a cool idea. Yeah.
Did you have your hand raised? Oh, the lady behind.
I this one, are you gonna redo the roof?
Does that include painting and fixing the wood structure of this building as well?
Yes.
Okay. And can you tell me the last time the roof was done here? Is it more than 20 years? And what's the lifetime of the terracotta roof?
Hopefully more than 20 years.
Because it was done, I don't know, I've lived here for 53 years.
I think that at the time Seaside Johnny's did the repair a long time ago as a condition of getting their new concession agreement. And that was obviously that was probably back in the 90s, I would think. I'm not sure, though.
Maybe, yeah.
Am I correct?
Yep, close enough. Thank you.
Late 90s, early 2000s.
All right.
So,
Well, that was not done really professionally. This is going to be done by a really good roofer.
Hi, Sheila Torpy, Rye, and I just wanted to ask if you were going to continue to, and maybe expand the North Gate entrance this summer for those of us who enter the park from that way to the beach.
Not a question for me. Where's our park director?
We had a question about the North Gate, expanding, I guess, access, about expanding access, or continuing, or expanding for the North Gate, yeah.
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
Continuing or expanding entrance to the North Gate to the beach.
Yeah, we're going to continue what we did last year, so it'll at least be that much, which is maybe 200% more than what it was the year before. So slowly, but yeah. Jose, what are the hours up there? Are we going to do Wednesday to yes, kind of Wednesday through Sunday from 9A to 2P. All right.
Hi, Megan Corbett, Forest Avenue. Shout out to the Friends. You have done an amazing job with the plantings in the park. Absolutely gorgeous. And to Russ and his staff. My question is about noise in the park when these big events happen, like the triathlon, last week's Suds, and I can't remember the correct name. Yeah, the music, unlike music that comes from Barley Beach House, which is really right here and very localized, the music at those kind of events tends to be blasted out towards the community. And last Saturday's booming bass beat went on for 6 hours. 6 full hours. And that was after 9 days of Veolia and their henchmen digging up Forest Avenue, putting down plates, removing plates, putting plates back again and removing them, and listening to night after night of people going thump, 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 thump as they drive down Forest Avenue. So if there could be consideration for the neighborhood on those event type things where the music is blasted out for hours, not a concert, but for hours, that would be very highly prized by those of us who love living in this neighborhood and have been here for a very long time and know all the pluses and minuses. But noise, because you've gotten everything else under control, noise abatement would be a great improvement. Thank you.
Thank you. The only comment I have about that is that whatever noise emanates from the park, needs to comply with the City of Rye's noise code. So
don't really have one. It's kind of,
I'll give that to the mayor.
There is a noise code, but there's nobody out there monitoring. That is, you have to show a decibel level in order to violate the noise code. The decibel level is actually pretty high. And that's something that perhaps we can think about generally. But in order for there to be a violation, there would have to be a cop with the right equipment checking a decibel level.
right. So I'm happy to monitor it, but in the sense of, I hear it, it's annoying me, let me call, which is what I did. But that's not official. You know, there's no.
Right. But if you can call the police, and there you go.
Can I jump in here 1 second? And I know Phyllis wants to have a word about this because she's a Rye Beach Avenue resident. So when it comes to like last weekend's event, I'm in agreement that that we had a stage out here and we had live music, and then when the live music was on a break, they had a DJ. And I've already spoken to the Barley Beach House and said, when we do this event next year, assuming we do this event next year, the live music was, in most people's opinion, was fine. It was the interlude music, which was a DJ, and there's DJs and there's DJs, but you got to know your audience. Okay, so this is not a Lower East Side club doing a rager, doing an EDM rager, on Saturday night. Okay, you can do DJs have a wide selection of.
Yeah, you know your club.
Right. But no, but that's not what this event was. So there's DJs have a gazillion songs they can choose from, right? But what they chose, their playlist was, and I've told this to them, I'm not going to let it go next year. Can't happen. Okay, Phyllis, did you want to say something?
I'm going to get the microphone as close to you as I can.
I don't know. I've taught for 47 years. They can hear me out in the football stadium. I'm going to come over here then. I'm Phyllis Rothschild. I live directly across on Rye Beach Avenue. But I see some of my neighbors here, and I've been here since 1975. And over the years, we've had entertainment. We've had different restaurant leases, I guess, going back to Seaside Johnny's, when we did have music, but this past weekend was totally unacceptable. Totally lack of concern or consideration for the people who live on Rye Beach Avenue. I'm not quite sure if the people on Forest hear it, but I would be shocked if the people on this side heard it, because the bandstand, the music, is all over near the bathrooms on the north side. Now, we have a beautiful park. Why they have to pick that particular spot, I'm not quite sure. They could move in. They had cars parked in the park, not... I really don't like that. No, I agree. They were parked in the park, not in the normal parking area that's used when the beach is opened, but right over here. If they put the stage there in the middle of the park, we might not hear it. But I heard it at 11 a.m. in the morning when I was in the shower in the back part of my house.
It went on till 6.
It went on till 6, after 6, because I did call the police. And they actually said, well, there's nothing we can do. They have a permit. That's total disregard for the people who live here. I mean, if there was a vote, I would vote. There is no entertainment in the park. Entertainment is in this pavilion, that's it. Because there's no way of controlling it. There's no soundproofing, there's no decimal reading, there's nobody on duty. Where did he go? Where's my buddy that I complain to every time? Yeah, hi Russ. Russ knew me by first name. I was really impressed with that one. But it's a beautiful park. I don't want it to turn into something that it shouldn't be. And if they need to broadcast the music so that everybody in the neighborhood can hear it, whether you're on Redfield or Rye Beach Avenue or across the street, this is not what that is. I don't even hear Playland that loud, and I've been here since '75. The only thing I hear from Playland is the toot-toot from the train in the children's section. That's all I hear. I don't hear when the bandstand is going on. I'll deal with the tiki bar this year, again, because I called for them too. It's loud. It's not necessary. People are deaf, I guess, that they can't hear the music. They're right in front of them. But anyway, I would appreciate if
Thank you for your
the
comments.
commission
Thank you.
would respect the people who live here. Right now, I don't feel that.
Any other comments?
Wait, is this about like that place, or I thought we got off track?
Anything.
Anything you like?
No, thank you, Russ and team. You guys do an amazing job. Thank you. I'm sorry, what's your name? Diana. Thank you, Diana. You guys are also beautiful. Like, I always love this place, and then you don't realize, you're like, oh, there's icing on the cake now. It's really, really beautiful. Just the, I don't know what you call those things, but they're the handicap accessible things going to the beach.
The mats.
So some people feel like they can, that's like a place for them to like set up. So just like, yeah, I know, I noticed it last. On the mat? Yeah, some people like were setting up on the mat. So my friend was like, I'm gonna tell them, like, don't get into a fight on the beach, please.
That happens, just come tell us.
Yeah, okay, just because it's like, I guess maybe people don't realize, maybe they think that's what that's for. So I brought this up before, and I know like we have to have a balance between having people here as members to support the beach versus having too many people here and, you know, having parking issues. And I brought this up last year, and I don't know, like, I'm just bringing it up again, just like, would we ever, because I have friends that live in like Harrison, Purchase, and the other parts of Mamaroneck, and, you know, they love the beach, but the non-resident price is really, really high, you know. So I was wondering if we ever consider like neighbor pricing or something, just for like Mamaroneck, Purchase, and Harrison, the other part, because first one, no.
No, we're not going to have that, because 20 years ago, the entire green, Lucy would love this, was parked with cars, 1,800 on a beautiful day. And so that's how we came up with this two-tier system. So residents of Rye Town get a break.
Right, no, I know, but I'm saying, but we also need money coming in, and I think those people, you're not getting 1,000 people, I don't think, I mean, I don't know.
So, but we were. So that's why the change came about as a balance to support the park, but also preserve the park. You cannot have 1,000 cars parking in a park.
Right.
So it is, I know, a high daily rate to park.
No, for membership,
It's not high for them.
For non-resident, I mean.
Yes, so we're talking about non-residents.
Right, so I was just saying, like, not opening it to, like, not lowering that, but just like maybe expanding it a little bit to get more members.
Like Town Park.
Right,
so
true.
We supported, the two communities work, or more than two communities work together. If the park falls short, Rye City and the other things have to come up with the money. This was the balance that was struck to.
Okay, no, I believe you.
Excuse me.
I believe you.
We can have.
Okay,
The
anyway, and my
commission-
other thing.
Let me interrupt you for 1 second.
No, it's okay. No,
You
it's
raise a good point. You raise a good point.
It's okay. I just have one more thing to say. So Friends, I was like, would you guys ever consider, because I just feel like everything I'm a part of, everything I do, there's merch. There's getting like the I love, Portchester High School or whatever. So I was just wondering, because you can set up like companies that will do it for you. And I just thought, what a better place to buy, like a beach bag, a tumbler, a mat. I was just like scrolling things and towel. No, like you should see the cute
10,000 good.
Yes. And you know, like when you're doing it for the high school or whatever, it's like there's one person like take, but you can literally set, you know, these companies that just do it. You send them your logo. I mean, I don't know what logo or wording, but there's like I said, I was sitting here, I was scrolling. There's tumblers,
I'd love to change
there's
our
beach
logo.
mats, everything. And you know, when it's something that you're supporting and you can use, like I'm like, here, take my money. You know, so like PBS, like, you know, here's your tote bag and stuff like that. So anyway, that was my other thing.
That's a great idea. Excellent idea. And let me just comment on the commission reviews the fee structure, permit structure, and daily fee structure every year before we pass our budget. I mean, that's something that could be considered. You know, the park is open to everybody, and we have people who come from as far away as Yonkers and New Rochelle, and I'm sure there are a lot of people who come from Harrison, from the other parts of Mamaroneck, et cetera. But that, you know, you were, I'm sorry, I've forgotten your name, but you were correct. It's always a balance, because we have limited parking. If we had 10,000 parking spots, not on the grass, Lucy, not on the grass. If we had 10,000 parking spots, it wouldn't be an issue, but we don't. We have several, I think it's 900 spots? Something like that. So it's never a problem during the week, because we have open spots. It's a problem on a beautiful summer weekend, and especially on a holiday weekend. And that's why we limit it to, I forgot exactly what the rules are. Russ will remember. Debbie will remember.
It's residents and permit holders before noon,
Before noon, right.
on the weekends and holidays.
Right, so that we get our permit holders and residents into the park early before the non-residents come in. So we were always trying to strike some kind of a balance, and that's what it is. And you're right, if there is a deficit, and we say this every budget season, if every summer weekend is beautiful, we are going to make money. If every summer weekend is rainy, we are going to be in deficit, and there's nothing we can do about it. We rely on people. That's why it's important for people to buy permits, because then it doesn't matter. But if we sold 10,000 permits, then we wouldn't worry. But there are a lot of daily users, and if it's raining, they're not coming.
But that was kind of my point. It would be a way to get people to buy more permits.
You're talking about permits. I understand that. Yeah.
And,
So there are non-resident permits.
I understand what you're saying, but I'm saying that people who live in Harrison.
Right, you're talking about a
Our immediate neighbors.
Right.
Might be buying the permits, which would get us the money without worrying about the weather.
Right, it would be an amount somewhere between the regular non-resident and the regular resident, a middle tier. It's something to consider. But again, we'd have to worry about, figure out how many more cars that would bring in. We would love to have the permits, we'd love to have the people, but as I say, on a summer weekend, then we run into problems, because then we're parking on the grass, and that gets Lucy very upset. So,
Members can we accommodate?
yeah, we have to figure all that out. Thank you. It's a good question to ask. Thank you.
I would love to see more food options in the park. Food trucks, I think, would be awesome, and I think it would be a great way to make some extra money. I will say with Barley Beach House, over the winter, I tried to come for lunch on 3 different Fridays. They were never open. It's one of the only public places to eat lunch on the Sound, and it seems crazy that they wouldn't be open on Friday, on the weekend, especially during the winter. I understand like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, but they should really be open Thursday night, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all year round. And it's such a beautiful spot, and I feel like, I don't know how the revenue from the restaurant comes back to the park, but any way you guys could add more picnic-style food to the park and have that be a source of income, or encourage Barley to be open more in the off-season, I think would be highly worthwhile. And we'll do our best to get some nice lighting in here to spark the way.
I'll comment on that. We get a percentage of the gross from Barley, so it benefits, we're actually partners with them in that regard, so it benefits us in the park when they are open. They have to make a business decision. They're not going to pay their staff to come in if nobody's coming to the park. If you have 5 or 8 people to come on a winter weekend, it doesn't pay for them to have 3 or 4 people, to have cooks, to have bartenders and things like that. It's not, doesn't make business sense for them.
It's a business for you and for them. We need to encourage them to do the advertising to get people to
Yeah,
come, sit in the water.
and I don't have a problem with your suggestion about food trucks. I mean, we could bring, especially on days when they're not open, to have food trucks come into the park. Especially if it's in the winter, we don't have to worry about them parking somewhere and taking up spaces. So that's a good idea. Thank you.
I just wanted to comment about the Barley House and at the winter. I love the food in there, but I'm going to say that I went there in the winter and it is freezing. And that would be one reason not to go there. So maybe the park could do something to make it so that it could be warmer in there, so they could be open in the wintertime, but you don't want to be in there. I mean, we had a wonderful meal, but I couldn't wait to get out of there. Yeah, it's freezing.
I guess they're not heated. They're a summer.
The windows in there do not allow, they're not like winter-proof, so it's cold. So that's something the park should consider.
All right, thank you. Is there anybody else? Before, I know that Mayor Cohn has to leave. Before we go, I'd like to have a motion and a second to cancel our meeting of, when we were scheduled, May 21?
Correct, Tuesday, this Tuesday.
Yeah.
May
so-
21st.
Okay. May I have a motion and a second to cancel our May 21 meeting?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Good. One less night out for us, right? Is there anybody else before we,
It's a great thing.
especially for you, Lindsay? Before we close, comments from the commissioners? Anybody? Oh, one more. Yes, ma'am.
No, that's not the real reason why, but yeah.
I do live on Rye Avenue, where the wall is, and there have been years, not recently, but there have been years where cars will park in the entire park up to the wall.
Phyllis, when was the last time that happened?
Oh, that's what I said, it's been a while.
All that's been eliminated. The only reason we had cars parking, those were the vendors for the event.
Right.
So occasionally there'll be a one-off time where we will be parking cars there, but just for the vendors for the events. But otherwise, there's no more parking in the park. Don't go beyond the park.
Okay.
All right? It's all been eliminated.
Thank you, Russ. Okay. Josh?
I'm sure I'm saying this for everyone up at this table, but thank you all for coming. Thank you for your thoughts, your ideas. It's really very, very helpful to us to know what people who are really enthusiastic about the park think and would like to have us do. In terms of what we would like to do and what we're able to do, the word balance has come up a number of times, and much of what we do on the commission involves balancing the need for this versus the need for that and the costs of all these things or the effect of one thing on another. Everything is connected, of course. And then thanks to the Friends, in particular, thanks to Lucy and Diana, and thanks very much to the staff for keeping this park together and making it as beautiful as it is.
Yeah, I'll just echo that. Thanks to the staff and to the friends and the feedback that I'm getting from users of the park are that it looks great and that it's just continually improving. So, fantastic job.
I just want to say it's an honor to serve on this committee, and I look forward to another successful summer, thanks to the help from our amazing staff, the amazing volunteers with the Rye Town Park Commission, and let's have a great summer. Happy summer.
And I would be remiss, she was behind the speaker at first, Councilwoman Jamie Jensen. Acknowledge her. Thank you, Jamie. Who's been a long-time member of the Friends and has been a friend of the park forever. And I see in the back our Town and Commission Attorney, Jeff Binder, is sitting there comfortably. So, I thanked Debbie before. Debbie especially. Debbie does a lot of things, nobody's even aware of what she does. So I want to thank her personally. And I want to thank everybody who's come out here and everybody who's happens to be watching, who's going to watch this on video, who's watching it live now, for having an interest in the park. And we continue to try to make it better for everybody. Our town residents, our city residents, and all of the patrons who come here from other parts of Westchester and beyond. It's a fantastic facility, and we want everybody to enjoy it. Thank you. Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you again, everybody.